Greetings, friends. So, if you notice, I'm wearing wings today. Besides wearing wings, I'm also wearing a low-cut top. And I decided to dress like this because today's talk is about our inner critic and just sensing into our inner critic, right? So I'm a Pisces, and I just love art, creativity, imagination, fantasy. So if I could wear wings every day and pretend like I'm a fairy, I probably would. If I could, I imagine of flying around my dragon or having my lion by my side. So it's just things like that I love to harness, that imagination, that creativity, that energy, right? Well, for me to go on live and do a video where tons and millions of people possibly could see me, that inner critic, that little voice in my head starts to tell me, Sarah, you should not do that. People are going to judge you. They're not going to take you serious. You do not look professional. They're not going to want to follow your talks or meditations or learn anything from you because you look like a nut crazy person. Which one of my mottos is always, I'd rather be crazy than boring. So who else would like to be a little more adventurous and step outside the box rather than boring? I'm sure I can connect with a few of you. So, talking about, the inner critic, like today, me just stepping outside my box, my comfort zone by wearing this in front of you all. Yes, my inner critic is here. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to sense into that inner critic. Right now, I recognize that there's a little voice in my head that's telling me, again, you should not be wearing that, right? You should not be wearing this low-cut top, which is showing more skin. I'm normally very covered up if you see any of my other talks or meditations. So again, I recognize that little voice. And we're going to use an acronym that one of my beautiful teachers uses and taught me how to use is RAIN. Now, RAIN stands for a few things, which we are going to get into. So that R, the first letter of RAIN, stands for recognize. So I'm recognizing that little voice inside my head is just on me right now, right? I recognize, I notice that it's here. So instead of being identified with it, like, I'm wrong, I shouldn't be doing this, I'm like, you know what? No. There's a part of me that thinks I should not be wearing this, right? So first is to recognize that little voice in your head. So the second part of RAIN is the A, and the A stands for allow. So I am going to allow my inner critic to be here. She can tell me, again, you don't look professional, you look sleazy, you look nuts. And I'm going to say, you know what? I normally like to name my aspects. So my inner critic, sometimes I like to call her Shira, because she can be a real powerful, strong bitch, if you understand me. And so a lot of times what I'll do is I will recognize that she's here, like I said, but I will say to her, you know what, Shira, thanks for giving me your 2 cents. Thanks for telling me I should not be wearing this, or I shouldn't be eating the pizza or the ice cream or whatever it is. So when I allow her to be here, I'm giving her space to be here. But I'm also not identified with her. So if we can recognize that our little voice is here, a huge thing that will help you is to name it. So again, I call mine Shira, but you can just say inner critic or little voice in my head, or whatever feels right for you. But in this situation for me, I like to call her Shira, so we'll go to that. So I will name her. Shira, I see you're here and you feel I should not be wearing wings recording this video or this top. I appreciate your feedback. Thank you. I'm going to allow you to be here. Now, after that allow goes into the I of rain, which is investigate. So when I say investigate, I say what we want to do is sense into that little voice. Sense into, why is she here? What is she trying to do? Because if you've seen any of my other videos on Inner Critic, that little voice in our head is a part of us from childhood. Okay, so it's a part of us that's trying to keep us safe. And in this situation, for me, I will investigate. Okay, first of all, where do I feel her in my body? I always like to try to, because we have so much information in our bodies. So I invite you to just sense into, where is this little voice? Is she in your head, or he? Is he in your head, your chest? Mine is in my solar plexus. So right now I can feel her there. Now when I sense into her and I feel her, and let me remind you that if you cannot feel your inner critic in your body, please understand that there is no right way or wrong. This is all a practice. Just setting the intention to sense into her, even if those are your thoughts, you are doing so much progress. And even if you can't do that, hang in there. Because it's a practice. There's no right or wrong with any of this work. So now I sense her in my stomach. And what I'm gonna do, first of all, is take some deep breaths to just ground. A lot of times what happens is when our heart's racing, our stomach's in a knot, or maybe we feel it in our throat, we start to go into our head. We start to think and worry over and over again about whatever situation it is. If you notice yourself doing that, you want to come back into the body by breathing or just feeling the ground beneath your feet. For me, I'm feeling the ground beneath my legs. So now that I'm grounded and I'm sensing into her, I'm asking her, what are you worried about? She's worried that I won't be taken seriously if I wear this. I'm going to thank her for worrying about me. Now, a huge thing that I love to do whenever an emotion is here, or any type of sensation, discomfort, even pleasure, I'm going to ask her, what do you need to feel safe right now? And when I ask, I'm going to try to quiet my mind and just see if any thoughts arise, any words or images. Because if you're trying to force something by thinking about it too much, you're too much in your head, and that's where we don't want to be. We want it to come within us, within our human experience, our intuition, our heart mind. So for me, mine tells me I need words of encouragement. I need to hear that I'm safe by doing this, by wearing this shirt and these wings. So now we go into the in of rain, which is non-identified. I'm not identified with this part of myself, right? For me, she's separate of me. She's not me in this present moment. It's not me who is feeling judged. There's a part of me that's feeling judged. So now what I'm going to do, besides that in, it also stands for non-identification with what's going on within us, but also to nurture. So the in stands for a couple different things. So now I am going to nurture that part of myself. So I'm going to tell that knot in my stomach, you are safe. You are safe to worry. You are safe to be seen in wings and a low-cut top. You are safe to test your creativity and step outside your comfort zone. Now, can you sense? Follow me on my next meditation where I go into a deep meditation where I'm going to get very vulnerable with my own process and help you get vulnerable and deep with your own process of sensing into your inner critic. But for me, again, right now, that in is just going to be to nurture that part of yourself that tells you you should or shouldn't be doing something. Okay, that could be, again, words of affirmations. Could be sensing into a color. It could be creating an image. So follow me on my next video as I guide you in a very deep meditation to process your inner critic and to sense into what he or she needs.